I'm Mrs. Rogers. Today I'm going to be doing a lesson for you in physics and how we can integrate physics into music. We're going to be talking about sound waves and the vibrations within the sound waves. So the main things to talk about within that are frequency and pitch. Now, what our question is while doing our experiment today is how does changing the size of an instrument alter the pitch? Is a bigger instrument versus a smaller instrument, do they have different pitches, and how do they differ? The next key is frequency. Frequency is the number of times a wave passes through a given point. So next, looking over here, I drew some diagrams for you of low sounds versus high sounds. Low sounds tend to have a slower pitch. As you can see, the waves and the vibrations are less. These tend to be instruments that are longer, whereas high sounds tend to move through less space quicker. So as we see here, the waves we have a lot more, but they're a lot shorter. So now for our experiment, what we're going to do is we're going to take a common everyday straw. You're going to take one end and bend it a little bit. Then next, you're going to cut it as if you were cutting a reed for an instrument. So you're going to cut a little bit off each side. So it comes to a point, and then you're going to make sure it's flattened out and that each side is cut evenly at the same point. Now, you can blow through it to see what kind of pitch it has. Now, what I already did for you for the demonstration for the video is I already made straws in different lengths. I cut them down to size, or I added additional straws to make them longer. So if our theory stands correctly, the short one should have a lot of sound waves going through it and be higher versus the long one that has longer waves and should be lower. Let's test them out and see. The shortest one is really high versus the longest one which is much lower. So now if we try them out in order, it should be from highest to lowest. I'm losing my breath here. And then our last at the lowest and the most challenging to blow into. So now, the next time that you go to a restaurant, you can show your parents that you can cut off the tips and demonstrate sound vibrations, the frequency, and the different pitches. You can cut your straw shorter or ask the waitress for a few more straws if she'd still like to stay at the restaurant by then. Thank you.